Good afternoon, everyone. This is Nancy from Nija Inc. It's a beautiful sunny afternoon on Tuesday, May 31st. We're here at the site of Towtaid Park. We noticed when we drove in, we saw that the posts were put on the top and the bottom. So pretty soon there's gonna be the metal link right on it, and we see designation fencing right through the middle. We see the white area for the basketball court area. I think they're getting 67 by 90. We're getting 35 by 102.
No, I think they're getting 67 by, I think, close to 102 this way, because it's the whole thing I think was 102 and then 102 this way. So I think they're getting 67 by 102, if I'm not mistaken, or close to 102 from that fence to that fence. But I think it's 50 by 90, the line for the high school size. I think what they're gonna do, if they're gonna do that size, unless they decide to go bigger because they have more space. You know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying? We have the opening here, which is always good to have more than one opening for an area of play. I mean, we've been to areas that either they're too closed off, so if you're inside you have no way out, and you always need a way out. Any kind of emergency, I mean, you never know why you have to get out of an area. So that's a good area. But this is 8 foot here, and they have 10 feet all the way around. This is about 600 feet of fencing. It's kind of crazy because obviously we were looking at the price comparison to what we're trying to get at Green Hill, which is only an additional 200
at Green Hill
feet.
Park handball court.
And this is about 600, because if you run 100, 200, 300, 4, 5, well, let me see. Yeah. 1, 2, and then you count the interior. Oh no, there's 5, and then they have that short fence. They have a 5-foot fence for the parking that runs across the whole thing, which is still about 600 feet of fencing. That's a shorter fence, and the price is significantly lower. So, and it's still the black fence. They have the pole in the middle. It's not just the fence without this pole, so it makes it more solid. But this is great, and what's great about this is we can feel that there's good shade here. Right now it's a cooler day, but it got cooler now, so it's a really comfortable day. But even if it wasn't, you do have good shade here, because I can feel the shade from here. Yeah, we do need those trimmed back, but even with those trimmed back, you get nice shade, so you can play. Because always when we talk about shade is usually if you're gonna have a really sunny court, you need places to cool off. Because I think right now we just came from a park in South Worcester. There's only 5-6 people in the park, and I always say when it's a beautiful, beautiful day, I always question why the park should be full. You know what I mean? I always think that what else people are doing. I mean, there may be days there may be more people, in the parks than others, and more, it could be games or it could be something going on. But I think
this is the middle entrance into the handball court area.
There should be more people. I mean, that's what we're hoping here, to have the basketball. We'll have pickleball going on, and I think the wall is going to go about here when we get to do it. So this is going to be the handball area. That's why we were saying that these, you go for a side shot, you can see. You go to swing, I think we demonstrated this before. You have this overhanging, so we definitely gotta trim that back. I mean, I don't have to get rid of them all. Just trim like maybe that one branch.
A few branches, bro.
Yeah, just a couple of the branches, the ones that are hanging low.
A few.
If they're not hanging that much, and then if they grow and you have to trim them again, you trim them a couple years. I think we can kind of get away with not having that tree removed. Like we were saying though, if for whatever reason we notice a change in a couple of years where we start seeing some kind of mound, some kind of root growing, then we got to talk about what we're going to do.
That's why it should get eliminated, removed before we see that type of problem, because we're going to see it.
Yeah, because we don't know how big this one grows, and then once a root starts coming through, then it kind of
it's going to get thick like the other ones behind it.
Let's see what happens. It's there. If it does, then we...
No, it is. So bye-bye.
And then they have all this. This is where the pickleball section is going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be
nice
fun.
And wide. Remember, pickleball is 44 feet long by
20.
20 feet wide. But you also have to factor in running space. We always factor that in because a lot of times when people build handball courts, and we're not even like pickleballers like that, but we understand running space because it always happens to handball. So when I think of pickleball, I always think about how much room are they going to have behind them and on the sides, you know what I'm saying? And how much room before they interfere with another sport. Because I've seen a lot of designs like that end up, you want to be able to make sure that you have all the activities that they can, happen at the same time. That's why you want either the fencing, and where you don't have fencing, you want to have the proper distance and separation between the two. But you should have fencing, in most cases. I mean, I think that when you don't, you just got to work, you know what I mean, if you're not going to have fencing.
And you have the other outside entrance into the parking lot. Or this one's going to be locked all the time for cleaning, for the leaves.
I don't know what they're going to do here, because I think there's going to be a gate. We need to find that out, because obviously for us, if there's pickleball going on here, we don't want an opening to stay open.
We want this closed.
We need something. This has to be closed. So I don't know if this is going to have the gate, so they get the, like they were saying, the leads out.
I see.
Well, these are just for the fence. You won't really know unless you see the hinge thing. I mean, usually they do put it on the thicker one. But I think that, remember, this is where it was spray painted gate. So I'm assuming that that's what's happening. And this is what I was talking about. They have, now it drops in, and then they have that 5 foot, this is 5 feet, I'm assuming. 5 foot fence all the way across, which is, it's a lot of fencing, you know what I mean? And like I said,
and then you have the middle fencing right there.
And then they put one of these, and this is where the entrance is. This is the parking lot, so unfortunately you get the marks, but eventually you won't notice these.
Yeah, the little marks on the floor.
That's why we had talked to them about maybe putting some of the cones, because people are not meaning being harmful. It's just they don't realize if they come in, you're gonna leave some marks, so but this is kind of a cool idea, so that way you don't have to have a gate that people are not swinging on and it's not locked. You're coming in, and if the ball does go out, it's not immediately going. I don't see this ball really going out, because now they got a 10 foot. Remember, it was going to be 8.
Compared to 4 feet of fencing that they had around the basketball court.
Yeah, that was
this is a huge improvement.
Yeah, 10. I mean, they're not going to have that problem. You know what I mean? So this is fantastic. And they have this, and they have, I mean, I'm hoping that nobody drives into this. You know what I mean? People pulling in and out. You know what
people
I mean?
got to be very, very, very cautious and alert. Especially pulling out on the playground side, that's going to be an issue.
And I wonder sometimes what we just mentioned, which is an expense. It's always an expense. When they have those barriers that they have, where when you park it, you can't drive. Probably not gonna get that, but you know what I'm saying.
Oh,
like
those bumps?
Yeah, those little things that we put, like we have one in our driveway.
Yeah.
But, like they have those little, I forgot what they call it.
The
but
parking bumps?
Yeah, it's like, maybe that's something similar to that.
Or curbs?
Yeah, it's like a curb for parking or whatever it is that you have up, and it stops, so that way people are not driving into the fence and denting it. You know what I mean? Like, let's say somebody pulls in here, they don't get too close to the front of the fence, and they're not, that way it's not caving in, or like that. Like I'm thinking of this, when people are backing up, that they're not hitting this, because it's kind of in an odd spot. It's a good thing.
So maybe it needs those yellow little
maybe
metal things.
Maybe even if it's only for this. Like the little thing that you can put, but not something that people are tripping on. It's just got to be something. I don't know. Maybe we won't need it, but something that. I'm saying when people do because they're probably gonna try to do like a little 3-point turn, and if there's other cars parked here, that's when it gets a little tighter.
Yeah. So it's looking nicer, right?
It looks great. I mean, like I said, this is something that the fencing thing. I mean, we fought so hard, like what you fought for Green Hill and other locations like Kennefit and Springfield that hasn't had the fencing since it's been built. Even Holyoke at South Holyoke. I mean. And we've seen the deal breakers when fencing is not, at a place. Although we've gotten a lot of handball at Kennefit, I mean, it's been a turn off, when people play there, especially when they have 3 or 4 people playing. Then people are not going to want to go there because you got to chase the ball so much. Like we were chasing the ball yesterday because we didn't have the fence, and we're enclosed, but it's such a large area.
Yeah, no fencing,
Well,
behind the handball court, because then you have the volleyball court at the Robert Sports Complex.
Yeah,
right
and then,
behind
you
Holyoke
got to
High
bring a
School.
bunch of balls because it's not here. You can retrieve the majority of them because it's within the perimeter, but inside, it's enclosed.
But can you, when project is done, I'm going to show you the before and after, because this park needed a major upgrade.
Well,
and it still needs more.
For towns, like for small towns to push for their parks as well, because there's only so much you can do in a driveway. We're blessed to have, the people that are homeowners or they live in some type of house or something, whether it's a apartment in a house or whatever it is. But they may have access to some kind of yard or a driveway or something like that. But there's only so much you could do there. Like even our home is pretty close to here. But what can we, there's only so much you can do without driving your neighbors crazy. So you want to be able to go to a park too. And if you have the parks, a lot of towns have, they might have a park or two, some have more.
So I could picture the wall over there. I could picture the pickleball area right here, and the nice basketball. 3 activities happening at the same time, which I was envisioning 5 years ago.
Yeah, then that's what we always say. You don't want to have something where you have to stop one activity to do the other. I mean, it's not a gym like an inside gym, and sometimes you do have multi-use basketball areas or sport areas that you may, it's kind of designed that way. Like what's the name? Crystal Park? It's not Crystal Park.
University Park?
Not University Park. Castle Park. Castle Park. When they redid it.
Castle Oriat Park.
Yeah. When they redid one of the basketball courts, we were gonna have a handball court there, but we had that kind of relocated. But they made one of the basketball courts multi-use.
For soccer.
So they put goals embedded into the fencing, which is kind of cool if you have plenty of basketball courts and stuff like that, and you're trying to fit 2 or 3 activities in one particular area. Then you may wanna, you can consider that, but you have to really think of if it's gonna work and if that's something that the community is gonna use for that. Because what they did was they have like a goal, like right embedded in the fence.
Yep.
And then they put they put that glass.
That plexiglass, yeah.
No, yeah, they put that glass like on the side of it, so that way if they're playing, that piece must have been pretty expensive. But that glass is expensive.
Very.
And kind of gave you ideas of, wow, you could have had like a glass handball court or stuff, but you know how things are. That's a taller glass, and now people are going to be targeting it more. Because when you have this kind of high fencing, then you can think of, can you have something on the wall, like not a wall, like something related to, even if it's some type of material that you can have for handball, wall ball, whatever you want to have, so you could practice on it. But we're actually trying to get an actual handball court.
An actual handball court.
But in places that don't
a handball wall right in the middle, and then some 4 feet of fencing on the sides, so that the ball is not constantly going on the pickleball side.
Yeah, because places that can do that, and you have a wall, it's kind of hard to use it. But even like this kind of design here, like see how this is? This is kind of like what we ended up doing when we built Southbridge, and we had Mark Hurley do the fencing and put the poles in the ground. If you were doing small courts or something that you're just trying to get something up, even somebody in their backyard, you build something like this, and if you put plywood or something, or some kind of wood, then now you have like a practice wall, like something that you can actually make a mini court or something like that.
All right, so let's go through. Like, let's imagine when this is all done by the end of June. Wow. Look at that. Towtaid Park, people. Looking forward to its completion. We want to check it out, and we love what we see.
And there's lights here too. So
yeah, we're gonna have better lighting than that.
Yeah. The lights are kind of dim, so they're not really gonna work for the handball and the pickleball. They're kind of dim even for the basketball.
Yeah, that's all they have for lighting now. But we're gonna work on getting light on both sides, so that there's light for all 3 amenities.
But they did improve the lights though. Before they were like not working, and they were the old school lights, and then they put some of that lights there, and they're gonna have them on a timer, and so, but it's still gonna have some kind of lighting, so you're gonna be able to play some kind of basketball. You know what I mean? It's not going to be like lit. Like,
And this is in a, you know, neutral neighborhood, but that's why it's important to really have an adult presence in all public spaces.
well, that's right. We want to be able to, you know, if people are going to be playing pickleball, at least there's something here. Because we want to make sure that people don't mess it up for other people. You know what I mean? That you know, I always say that, you know, kids or what do you want to call it, you know, young people need to have an adult presence. I mean, you need to have people kind of watching them a little bit without watching them. You know, if that makes sense, like just kind of their presence.
Redirect
You know,
them.
can help with, hey, you know, if you see someone doing something and not, you know, because for the most part, they, you know, you have a pretty good group here, but we've seen, you know, like you always get that sporadic person, like the, you know, people that were vandalizing. I don't know who took one of the pipes and hit the crack on the floor. I still have that on video.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that kind of stuff.
for
you know,
people, have a great afternoon. We just wanted to show you some progress that happened in the last few hours here at Towtaid Park in Leicester, Mass. Bye-bye.